So really what we've done from a company standpoint is we try to do all we can to make sure that our solutions are unified, they work well together, they're talking the same language. If we can, we do sort of that 1 + 1 = 3 concept. So the more you're leveraging our technologies, you're actually getting a better experience. And again, to us, it doesn't matter where you want to be living or which environment you're trying to bring on or leverage, whether it's data center, public cloud, branch office, remote user. You can leverage the same technology across all these different environments, and with a unified management solution. And real quick, so we have customers who say, you know what, okay, we hear what you're saying, but are you suggesting we use Palo for everything? And I say, well, we do. We use we use Palo. We use Palo. But joking aside, we have customers who say, okay, you know what? We have complete confidence in your platform. And now what they do is they come to us and they say, hey, we have a new environment or we have a new category that we're trying to solve for. Do you have something that we can leverage? And the answer is often yes. So, again, whether it's the firewalls themselves or these subscriptions that you can add or the management solution that you're using to manage these firewall solutions, typically you're able to use something from Palo Alto to solve for these. Whereas, previously you might have a tool for each one of these categories, which again is just really complicated. I know a lot of customers here on the call are probably our hardware PA series customers. So even if you decided, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, I would suggest that you at least think about leveraging, if you are a PA series customer, at least leveraging the VM series software firewalls in any scenario where you can't use a PA series. And again, this section in the middle is really, I would argue there are more similarities between our hardware firewalls and our software firewalls because they leverage the same operating system. They have the same security efficacy. They use the same architecture, kind of this idea of single pass layer 7 to provide that security efficacy. They both leverage the same security solutions that I mentioned, the subscriptions that you can add, and they leverage the same management solution for either form factor. So on hardware side, you might be using your hardware firewalls for physical environments. We just launched a bunch of ruggedized solutions. So you might have harsh environments, hot, cold, dusty. They're using PA Series 4. You might be using them for remote branches. But again, on the software side, if there's any area where you can't use a PA series, whether it's virtualized, public cloud, containerized, and now AI applications, that's really a perfect fit for our software firewalls. Real quick, I'm going to touch base on our newest management solution. I'm probably going to go a little faster through this just because I want to get to the AI section, which is kind of really the newest thing that we're seeing. But this idea of having a single unified solution, again, it doesn't matter if it's on-prem using physical firewalls, if you're using virtualized, or if you're in public cloud, or if you're in all three. We have a solution. Folks here might be familiar with what we call Panorama, but now we also have a new solution called Strata Cloud Manager. And this is really something that we launched last year. And this is for companies who are, they maybe have smaller security teams, or they have people who maybe aren't experts in how to write policies, and they're not security experts. So the idea is, what we've done is created a platform that allows you to manage your firewalls in a way that we're providing you sort of guardrails and best practices, so that someone does make a mistake in terms of writing a policy, whereas Panorama, they wouldn't catch, if you wrote a bad, if you wrote a bad policy, no one's going to catch that necessarily. But with this new solution, it might say, hey, wait a second, are you sure you want to write that policy in that way, and give you some suggestions to rewrite it in a better way. So really what we're doing is we're aggregating a couple different solutions. We're getting telemetry from hardware firewalls, software firewalls. If you're leveraging the security subscriptions on those firewalls, And even if you are using any of our SASE solutions, more on the SD-WAN side of things, then it's pulling in all these different data sources. It's applying some machine learning along with pulling in some best practices, and then surfacing all those to you on a single dashboard. So again, for folks who are leveraging Panorama today, this is looking very different than probably your Panorama experience. But again, this is a unified dashboard to kind of give you a quick snapshot of all your different users, all your different devices, all your different applications, risks and threats that are happening, operational health. So just a massive amount of information that's now being shown to you versus just using the tool to manage your policies for your firewalls. And also doing things proactively. So this is just one good. This is a simple use case, but if you had a firewall where the power supply was starting to fail, this solution can alert you up to 7 days in advance to say, hey, you know what? It looks to me like that firewall's power supply is failing. You can take a step further and actually have the solution order you a replacement so that there's no human interaction. It basically identifies that problem and just takes care of that replacement for you, so that basically after those 7 days, you already have a new power supply that you can basically just swap out. Also, just adding automations to ensure that, again, if there are issues and alerts that are happening, that you can not just have visibility to those alerts, but actually let the system take care of those for you, so that there's automation happening, with machine learning that essentially can take care of some of these proactively without humans having to look into it like they would historically. And then, like I mentioned again, putting guardrails on when you do write configurations and policies to make sure that those are written in best practice framework. And the last thing is, we've just added this idea of co-pilots. So if you've heard about the co-pilots in other technologies in different areas, what we've done is we're applying co-pilots to the management solution, so you're able to use natural human interaction, asking this tool, hey, take a look at this, or tell me how our users are doing in this area, or take a look at this, and having a kind of a human response come back to you like you would with a modern kind of AI application experience. All right, so I'm going to cover off in 5 minutes. I'll cover just what we're seeing in AI in a nutshell. The long and short of it is that about half of the organizations that we're talking to right now are starting to adopt AI, and about 100% are talking about leveraging AI in the next 12 months. So if you're not looking at it today, the likelihood is that you'll be trying to put your arms around AI at some point. And really, there's a lot of concern about AI security. And so in fact, about a year ago, we started working on AI security. But this past spring, we launched a new suite of solutions. And these suite of solutions are really broken up into two different use cases. On the left-hand side, it is making sure that if you are encouraging your employees to leverage third-party LLMs like ChatGPT to become more efficient, writing documentations or presentations, or if you have developers that are leveraging new, ML models to write code for them, then basically putting guardrails around that to make sure that they're not either uploading company secrets or customer PII or something else you don't want them to be feeding into a prompt, and the other way around. So making sure that if that third-party LLM that they're reaching out to has been compromised, that it's not sending back some sort of malicious code or a bad URL or something like that. And on the right-hand side, we're starting to see customers develop their own AI applications. So they're writing things like chatbots and shopping assistants, and just all sorts of different use cases. But again, kind of putting some guardrails around that and inspecting that traffic that's happening around the AI application. So we have three solutions. On the left-hand side, what we're calling AI Access to kind of provide some guardrails around the AI usage for company employees. And then the two on the right-hand side is really our AI SPM for kind of more application and supply chain security, and then AI runtime security on the right-hand side. And the AI, and I'll skip here, that last solution is really to address this new ecosystem that you're starting to introduce into your environment. So if you're starting to write any AI applications, that application is reaching out to an AI model. That AI model is reaching out to some sort of a data set. And then you have this traffic going in and out of the internet, again, to be reaching out for updates and plugins and things like that. All that traffic needs to be inspected, just like your traditional data center or cloud traffic. So this is a whole new ecosystem that really needs to be inspected. And we have essentially software firewall. If it's not a software firewall, but one way to deploy the solution that we have to inspect this new AI-related traffic is think of it as a software firewall. So you would place a software firewall, or what we call AI runtime, in the middle of this traffic to inspect, to make sure things aren't happening. These are just some common use cases or some things we're actually starting to see in real world. So these are not theoretical. These are things that we're starting to keep an eye on in our threat intelligence team. So for customers who are adopting AI, you want to make sure you have something in place that's inspecting this traffic that's flowing in between, again, your applications, your models, and the data sets. We have a new pane of glass that fits into that solution I mentioned before, our Strata Cloud Manager. There's basically a new page on that console that is designed specifically to look at your application, your data, and your models if you are developing an AI application. So last slide, and I'm going to open it up. Really what we're after, again, is these new specific threats. These are not things that anybody here on this phone call, including me, saw 12 months ago. Now we're starting to see these happening. And so this is really something that we are spending almost, I wouldn't say all of our time. This is really something that we're heavily focused on. And because I think we're going to see huge adoption of this, again, in the next 12 to 24 months. With that, I'll open it up and I'll stop sharing, and then we can ask questions. I'll turn it over to you, Derek, too, if you want to say anything on your side.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm happy. I was scrolling through the list of participants. I've worked with a few people, so I'm happy to see the familiar faces as well as the new faces. Thank you for the PowerPoint and everything. It was really good.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot.
I just wanted to touch on two things more specifically with Choice and Palo Alto's, and kind of on our professional services side. We've built these environments, and we can build these or provide consultation or support for any of it. And I'm happy to provide that assistance. On the more hardware side of things, I know a lot of people these days are looking at swapping out the 200 series or the 800 series and trying to get something faster. We can provide these services, and I just kind of wanted to highlight that. And as was mentioned earlier, the best practice, the AI ops and best practice assessments, we are definitely able to do that and kind of run through what we can do and what we can change, or provide recommendations on the different services that your Palo Alto probably already has the function for, and all that. And then on the managed services front, we can provide monitoring and software upgrades and backups and day-to-day management. And it's a really nice service. We do a good job, I promise. And that's all I got.